here on the keys is Kana. Everyone Kana has a keyboard and a lot of other instruments over here, so I don't know what's going to happen. I'm here to tell you a story. It is a very old, a very old, ancient folk tale, a fairy tale that has never been told before. And will never be told again. You get to decide what the story is about. So here's what I need from you. I want you to think to yourself right now of a type of person, like a wizard or a doctor or something like that. Just think that to yourself. And if you have something, please raise your hand. You thought of the thing. There's, yes, right over there.
Swollen dentist.
A swollen dentist. So we're just going to take dentist because
Okay.
I don't know what the first part means.
Just an action.
Yeah, no, I mean, the story of the giant round swollen dentist. No, it's just dentist. And then I'm going to get another suggestion, which is a type of animal, either real or imaginary. Raise your hand if you thought of an animal. Right over here.
Aardvark.
Aardvark, great. Aardvark is a great suggestion. And now I just need one more, which is an object that you could hold in your hands. And raise your hand if you have an object. Right here.
A tennis ball.
A tennis ball. Wonderful. So, great. So a dentist, an aardvark, and a tennis ball. This is the tale of the dentist, the aardvark, and the tennis ball. Once upon a time, there lived an aardvark named Steve. And the aardvark was, if you have never pictured an aardvark recently, it's a little bit like an anteater, but like shorter and just like cute little prehensile nose. It can stick its nose into the ground and eat insects. It can scurry around. It's an adorable little beast. And Steve, unfortunately, was having a problem. Is that Steve was watching television. A television had been thrown out of a car that went by where Steve lived, and the TV somehow, through magical means, was still working, and it was just showing tennis games. Just tennis games. It was stuck on the tennis channel. And so Steve would watch tennis games and watch the ball go. And Steve was fascinated by this game and thought, I can play this game. And so Steve snuck into the nearby town and went to where the tennis games were played. And he'd never been around people before. They were big and scary. And then he saw it, a game of tennis happening in front of him. The tennis ball went back and forth. He wanted so badly to play that he scurried up next to the game, stuck out his nose, made a huge sucking, and the tennis ball flew from the court and stuck to his nose. He now had it. And before the two humans, who were quite shocked that this had happened, could react, he scurried away. Tennis ball stuck to the end of his nose. Back to the field where he lived. I don't know where Aardvark was. Back to the field full of flowers that Aardvarks love. I can picture it, but I don't know the background. He had the tennis ball, and he was so happy that he did a little dance. He danced, he danced, he danced, and before before he quite knew what he was doing, he had sucked the tennis ball up his nose until it was right next to his skull, and he could not get it out. Who fixes aardvark noses? Steve didn't know. So he ventured back to town. Someone can help me. Surely one of these giant people can help me. Except that he had a tennis ball in his nose as he talked to himself, so it was more like... Then he saw it. A big sign that could have been the answer to all of his problems. It said dentist. That has something to do with the skull. Steve didn't have more than a junior high school education. But he knew that dentists work on skulls in the vicinity. So he crawled through the door the next time a human being went through it. And then he scurried through the halls, equally as lost as any other person would be in a dentist's office. And then he saw a chair. It was the most impressive chair. The most impressive chair he'd ever seen. And he was up so high. There was nobody in the room, but it was a beautiful room. It was so white and clean. Steve thought to himself, surely this must be where aardvarks go when they die. He was not going to die this day, even though he was having a lot of trouble breathing. He didn't have to wait for long because there was an appointment, and the dentist, whose name was Dr. Alonzo, came in with a patient and said, right this way. My dreams have come true. I always wanted to be a veterinarian. But no, my parents would not let me. They wanted me to be a dentist. But finally, here is an animal with a problem. Get out, patient. Not be working on you today. And the patient, who was having a root canal that day, was like, it's fine by me. I'll put this off until my teeth fall out, or whatever happens with root canals if you don't treat them. He left. He's not part of the story. Alonzo approached Steve the aardvark and said, my little friend, what possible problem could you have with your teeth? I don't think aardvarks even have them. And Steve, doing his best human impression, said, he had a tennis ball in his nose. There's probably something, probably could have been a better voice, it's fine. You do an aardvark with a tennis ball. That's okay. Look right in the mirror, they'd really go for it, and see how it's like. My little friend, I see that you are swollen near the skull. I, too, once put things up my nose. I applaud you, for I never would have been able to put something so large up there. I topped out at marbles. And Steve looked up with so much thankfulness. Surely, this must be the God that aardvarks meet when they die. And Alonzo said, we are going to put a little bib on you. And I'm going to get my instruments. And then I'm going to shine this very bright light in your eyes. You are receiving the Alonzo experience. look straight up and do your best to say, ah. Steve looked up and said, for this, I will need, no, not the sharp pointy thing. No, not the mirror. No, not the thing that squirts water, nor the thing that sucks water up. I will need surprise! And that was the sound of the tennis ball hitting the ceiling. And then falling back down. For so surprised was Steve that he exhaled quite exuberantly and finally could breathe again. And he could speak using all of his knowledge of human language to the doctor. And he said, "Thank you, doctor. I was quite in distress, and you have helped me. If I ever find an aardvark wife, I will tell her the story of how the humans were kind to me." That is all I ever wanted. When I wanted to be a veterinarian, I wanted to know that animals who were healthy could fall in love. And Steve went out of the dentist's office, no longer scurrying, but strutting proudly. And Alonzo, his dreams came true that day as well, and he often went and visited Steve in the field from that point on, and they even became tennis partners.